Bellingham has quietly become one of the most talked about retirement destinations in the Pacific Northwest, but after living here for over 30 years, I can tell you there's one thing almost everyone gets wrong before they actually move here. So before you make one of the biggest decisions of your life, let's talk about what retirement in Bellingham is really like. I've lived here for over 30 years. I've raised my family here, and my wife Jasmine and I have helped dozens of people relocate here to Bellingham and Whatcom County over the last couple of years. And my goal today isn't to convince you to retire here, it's to simply help you picture what life actually feels like in Bellingham. You'll know whether Bellingham belongs on your retirement shortlist or whether another place might actually be a better fit. And before we jump in, if you're thinking about moving here to Bellingham or anywhere here in Whatcom County, my wife and I have helped so many of you that have found me on YouTube. So if you're planning your next move in the next month or the next couple of months, please reach out to myself. We'd love to help you out. All my information will be right here and in the description below on how to reach out to us to have a simple conversation. So let's answer the question, why Bellingham? When most people picture retirement, they think of warm weather, golf carts, palm trees, and sunshine almost every day. Bellingham usually isn't the first place that comes to mind, and that's exactly what makes it so interesting. And back in 2016, Forbes recognized Bellingham as one of the best places to retire in all of America. So pointing to quality of life, to healthcare, access to outdoors. But after helping so many people move here, I don't think a national ranking is why people fall in love with Bellingham. They fall in love with what their life starts to feel like once they're actually here. The people I work with usually aren't looking for the cheapest place to retire, and they're definitely not chasing the perfect weather, as many of you know. So they're looking for balance. They want somewhere they can slow down without feeling they've stopped actually living life. They want to stay active, have beautiful places nearby, avoid the chaos of a major city, but yet have it still in reach, and still feel like there's enough going on to keep life interesting. I've had clients move here thinking they were just downsizing into a smaller home, and 6 months later they're telling me about their new walking route, their favorite coffee shop here in Bellingham, the restaurant they go to every single Friday, or how much more often their kids and grandkids are coming to visit. That's the part people don't always understand before they move here. Retirement in Bellingham isn't really about the house. It's about what your Tuesday morning feels like when you don't have to rush anywhere and going to work. It's about having places you actually want to go, even when there's nothing on your calendar. And I think that's where Bellingham really starts to make a lot of sense for the right person. So let's talk about what retirement actually feels like. Now, for those of you that are watching this video, what do you know about retirement? You're nowhere near retirement age. I totally get it. I know, I'm 36 years old. I don't know anything about retirement, but I have helped so many people, whether they found me on YouTube or not, buy a home or actually just retire here in Bellingham. A big part of my business are people who are going to be in that 55 plus, who are moving here to the area, who are just simply wanting to downsize and or escape some of that really big city life, and especially some of that hot weather that we get in the south area of the United States. So now, based off of the people I've helped and their experiences and what they've told me, if I had to describe retirement in Bellingham, I'd say life becomes a little less scheduled and a lot more intentional. Just imagine waking up on a July morning, grabbing coffee and walking along the Boulevard Park while the bay is super calm and flat and the air still has that cool northwest feel. Maybe you keep walking forward and towards Fairhaven, stop into Village Books, grab breakfast, or just sit outside for a while because you don't have anywhere to be. That sounds simple, but for a lot of people coming from a busier city, that simplicity feels like luxury. And one of our clients says something to me after moving here that has always stuck with me. They said, "Aldo, I thought I was buying a house, but what I actually bought was time." Back where they came from, every errand felt like a production. Traffic was crazy, the parking, long drive, crowded stores, and everything took longer than it should have, where here it's not like that. And after moving here, they were walking to coffee, meeting friends downtown, taking the long way home just to drive by the water, and spending more time outside than they had in years. that's when it clicked for them. Their house was important, but the real value was the life they got back. Now, growing up here, I honestly took a lot of this for granted. It wasn't until I started helping people relocate that I realized how emotional this decision can be. I'll take someone to Taylor Dock or Boulevard Park and sometimes just stop and taking a minute to relax and reflect. You can tell that they are picturing themselves here. They're imagining morning walks, summer visits with the grandkids, dinner in Fairhaven, or sitting by the water with nowhere else to be. That's the importance of Bellingham. And that's where Bellingham stops being a place on a map and becomes a real possibility. One of the great things about Bellingham is staying active. And one of the biggest reasons Bellingham works for retirees is that staying active doesn't feel forced. You don't have to join some massive retirement community or sign up for packed activity calendar just to have something to do. The lifestyle here naturally puts you outside. You've got Boulevard Park, you have Whatcom Falls, Lake Paddon, which is a must that you have to go and see. A lot of interurban trails, Chuckanut neighborhood, parks. Of course, we have golf courses. Pickleball is becoming huge. Kayaking, paddleboarding, fishing. There's so many things, and even Artist Point up on Mount Baker, which is definitely a must for sure. And I've had people tell me they become more active after retiring here than they were before. And not because they suddenly became fitness fanatics, but because being outside became part of their normal routine. They walk after breakfast, they garden in the afternoon, they meet friends for pickleball, they take their grandkids to Whatcom Falls or Lake Whatcom. They go to the farmer's market on a Saturday and end up walking around downtown for another hour. It's not exercise the way most people think about exercise. It's just living somewhere that makes you want to move. And in Bellingham, walking around here is so simple, and you can get from downtown to Fairhaven or to the Chrysalis to Zwanich Park pretty easily, though it could be a nice long walk. It's pretty simple and it's rather flat. And Bellingham is also a great home base if you still want to adventure in retirement. You can drive up to Vancouver, Canada, spend a day in Seattle, head up to Mount Baker, take a ferry to the San Juan Islands, or make it a weekend trip up to Whistler. You're close to a lot, but you don't have to live inside the noise of a major city. For a lot of retirees, that's pretty good sweet spot. And for a lot of people who are retiring here, they want to be able to be close to the airport and to have some major events to go and do. Go to the opera up in Canada or Seattle. Fly out of the SeaTac airport. But for a lot of people that are traveling internationally, because a lot of people who are retired do travel, will take a 45-minute drive up to the Vancouver airport and just fly out of there, making convenience really, really simple. And yet again, we're an hour and a half north of Seattle and about 45 minutes an hour south of Vancouver, Canada. So you can definitely have that big city experience if you want it. So let's talk about healthcare. Now, healthcare is not the most exciting part of planning retirement, and that's definitely one thing that is on top of mind of people retiring here. And the number one thing people definitely ask me is, how is our medical system in Bellingham? Bellingham has Peace Health, St. Joseph Medical Center, primary care offices, specialists, physical therapists, urgent care options, and most of the medical services people really need day to day. For a city this size, having that level of access matters, especially if you're comparing smaller retirement towns that may not have the same medical infrastructure nearby. The population in Bellingham is 100,000, so for what we have, it's a lot. But I also want to be honest, some of the specialists can have longer wait times. And if you have ongoing medical needs, I would not wait until after you move to start figuring that out. So that's definitely something to plan ahead. Get established early, ask questions, and make sure the care you need is available. And the nice part is that Seattle is still within driving distance for more specialized care, and Vancouver, BC is also close depending on your situation. Now, healthcare may not be the reason someone chooses Bellingham, but it's one of those things that gives people peace of mind once they're here. And out of the questions that I get here in Bellingham of retiring here, medical comes up probably in the top 2 or 3 questions. So if you've been enjoying this video and you like what we have to offer, please make sure you like and subscribe. My name is Aldo. I'm a local realtor here in Bellingham. Reach out to us. Let us know if you're coming to the area. It doesn't matter if you're 6 months or a year away. We deal with these situations all the time. Make sure you like and subscribe here down below, and let's get back into the video. So now let's talk about the weather. And this is what I love about Bellingham, is because the people who retire here, I think, benefit from the weather the most, because a lot of people like to travel and or are snowbirds. So Being here the months of March, April, all the way through Thanksgiving are the best. Obviously, you're gonna have long summer days, 5 a.m.s, 4 a.m.s even sometimes, all the way to 9:30, 10 p.m. sunsets. And in January, February, when you're cold and miserable, you have the ability financially and the freedom of time to just go travel where you need to go. Go back down to Arizona or Florida, travel to Hawaii, go down to Mexico. The things that people retire here, and the one thing that I hear about people when they retire here is the weather is not a problem because they can always leave. The nice thing about summers too is that restaurants are busy, patios are full, downtown sounds brings people out, the farmers market are packed, and it feels like everyone's trying to squeeze in every ounce of summer. So let's talk about the financial side. Bellingham is not the cheapest place to retire. I don't want to pretend that it is because it definitely isn't, and housing prices are higher than national average, and depending where you're coming from, that can either feel reasonable or super expensive. If you're selling in Seattle or California or another high cost market, Bellingham actually feels like a deal to you. But if you're coming from other areas that are a little bit less expensive, where you're selling your $400,000 or $500,000 house, Bellingham does feel expensive to you. That being said, this is why people are also retiring here, is what I've talked about before. There's so much to do, being out, slower pace. So the financial conversation isn't just about the home price. Though Washington has no state income tax, which is really nice for a lot of people who are retiring here, property taxes are actually pretty low, maybe 0.7, 0.8% of the purchase price or what your house is worth. But groceries, restaurants, and everyday expenses can feel a little bit higher, actually a lot higher. I always tell people to look at the full picture. Retirement isn't about finding the cheapest place to live. It's about finding the place where your money supports the lifestyle you actually want. And I feel like Bellingham definitely has everything to offer here. And so let's answer, where should you live? One thing I always tell people is that retiring in Bellingham doesn't necessarily mean living in downtown Bellingham or just Bellingham in general. Whatcom County has a lot of different lifestyles within a relatively small area. And if you want walkability, restaurants, coffee shops, local stores, and waterfront, yes, Bellingham and Fairhaven are pretty hard to beat. But if you want newer condos, lower maintenance living, shopping, and proximity to more medical stuff, then Cordata could also be one. But if golf, the marina, the water, and quieter, more of like a luxury feel is important to you, then Semiahmoo is one of the standout options in the county. So don't think that you have to live here in Bellingham, because we definitely have places all over Whatcom County where you can move to and have a very happy life. If you want a relaxed beach lifestyle, Birch Bay has a completely different feel, and evening walks along the berm and sunsets and a slower coastal pace, more of that beach vibe. And if you want a small town charm with like flatter streets and a quieter community, then Linden can be a great fit for you. If you want more space in your construction and easier access to I-5, Ferndale might be the place. So the key is not really asking what's the best place to retire, but the better question is, what do I actually want my daily life to look like? So who will love it here in Bellingham, Whatcom County? So I would recommend retiring in Bellingham for. So who is this person for? The right person, absolutely. If you love being outside, enjoying walking, appreciate a slower pace, and want access to nature and don't want or need the big city entertainment every night, I think Bellingham can be an incredible place to retire. If your idea of a great day is coffee in the morning, a walk near the water, lunch with friends, time in the garden, and maybe dinner somewhere local, this area is really easy to fall in love with. But if your dream of retirement is sunshine every single day, very low cost of living, or the energy of a major city, Bellingham may not be the best fit, and that's okay. The goal is not to convince everyone to move here. The goal is to help you figure out whether this is the right place for you. Retirement is too important to choose based on a ranking or a pretty photo. You're choosing where you'll spend your mornings, where your family will visit, where you'll build your routines, and where you'll make memories for the next chapter in your life, and especially finding a community that you can fit in. For me, Bellingham is special because it still gives me those little moments where I can stop and appreciate where I live, driving along the bay, seeing Mount Baker on a clear day, watching families at Boulevard Park, having the grandparents with their grandchildren at the pool or at the lake. There's a quality of life here that is hard to explain until you've really spent time here. So if you're seriously thinking about retiring here in Bellingham or anywhere in Whatcom County and even in Skagit County, my wife Jasmine and I genuinely would love to help. We have helped so many people who have found us through our blog, through YouTube, and a lot of this content on people relocating here to Bellingham. So again, my name is Aldo. All my information will be down here below and especially in the description of this video. So reach out to us. It can start with a simple conversation, a Zoom or Google chat here as well. And if you're wondering where you should actually live once you decide this area might be right for you, make sure you watch my next videos where I break down the different communities throughout Whatcom County and what kind of lifestyle each one of those has to offer. So again, guys, my name is Aldo. Whether you're trying to move here in a couple of months or further down the line, reach out to us. We'd love to help you out. And once again, we'll see you next time.